Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
MSNBC anchor whines he is being condescended to after being crushed by the facts. MSNBC anchor Ali Velshi had on former FCC Commissioner Robert McDowell to talk about net neutrality. After getting crushed by facts, Velshi attacked McDowell for being too condescending in his argument. Velshi started by arguing that losing net neutrality will destroy startup companies. McDowell reminded Velshi that startups existed before 2015. So, you have the Federal Trade Commission Act, for instance, you have the Clayton Act and the Sherman Act. Those are three very powerful federal statutes that kept the internet open and free prior to February of 2015, explained McDowell. What Title II, net neutrality, has done, in the wireless space anyway, is reduce investment in the past 2 years by 18%. We need about $300 billion over the next decade to build out 5G networks, and every independent Wall Street analyst I've spoken with says the 1,000 requirements of Title II has created tremendous uncertainty, said McDowell. Then Velshi got whiny. Look, I just feel like we're having a really unfair conversation here. I'm trying to have a conversation on the merits of the principle of unintended consequences and you're dropping a lot of legalese, said Velshi. The legalese is the merits though, Ali. That's what's at play here, and maybe you haven't read these laws, said McDowell. I'm very familiar with net neutrality. I'm really not that familiar with being condescended to, whined Velshi. Mark Steyn eviscerates liberal for calling the StarSpangled Banner racist. Mark Steyn eviscerates liberal for calling the StarSpangled Banner racist. It's epic. In an interview with Tucker Carlson, conservative commentator Mark Steyn crushed liberals for their increasing hatred of the American flag and their tendency to call everything racist, even Dr. Seuss. So, in the space of about 20 minutes, we have gone from the Confederate flag is racist to the Star-Spangled Banner is racist. We've gone from General Lee is racist to Dr. Seuss is racist. We have gone from, way down on the levee in old Alabama Bammy is minstrelsy to the cat in the hat is minstrelsy, which is actually this librarian's argument, said Steyn in reference to the recent viral story of a librarian rejecting Melania Trump's Dr. Seuss donation for being racist. I looked up the piece she referenced in the Journal of Social Justice Librarians or whatever it is, and it is incredibly moronic. It is part of the dumbing down of American society, explained Steyn. The piece argues that the cat in the hat's bow tie is meant to be an evocation of 19th century racist minstrel shows. Now just off the top of my head, cartoon characters who wear bow ties, Porky Pig, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Huckleberry Hound. Yogi Bear doesn't wear a bow, he wears a tie like me, but his boy sidekick Boo Boo the Bear wears a bow tie, he argued. MSNBC slams Trump for talking about Puerto Rico after insulting him for not talking about Puerto Rico. MSNBC's Katie Cho criticized President Trump very harshly for not talking enough about Puerto Rico. Something we didn't see during Harvey was the president took a real break from starting fights on Twitter. It's notable that Puerto Rico happened a number of days ago and the president, while they were suffering. The president was picking a big fight with the NFL and tweeting about it for days on end, said Tur. However, just 30 minutes later, she critiqued Florida Governor Rick Scott for having a press conference on Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans can't hear any of this. So who is all of this for? Asked her. So basically, if you don't tweet about Puerto Rico, you are ignoring them. If you do talk about Puerto Rico, it's pointless because they can't hear you anyway. Despite everything that the mainstream media has said about President Trump, the governor of Puerto Rico is very satisfied with how Trump is handling the situation. I have to say that the administration has responded to our petitions. FEMA, Brock Long, has been on the phone virtually all the time with me, checking out how things are going, said Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rossello in an interview. President Trump even tweeted about it in Puerto Rico. It is one of the few tweets President Trump has made that the media has completely ignored. Puerto Rico Governor Ricardo Rossello just stated, "The administration and the president, every time we've spoken, they've delivered. The fact is that Puerto Rico has been destroyed by 2 hurricanes. Big decisions will have to be made as to the cost of its rebuilding," tweeted President Trump. NFL player's wife exposes how her husband was tricked into sitting out the national anthem. Jesse James Decker posted last week about how much she loves this country and loves singing the national anthem. That is one of the reasons people were surprised when her husband, Tennessee Titans wide receiver Eric Decker, sat out the national anthem. According to Jesse, her husband was tricked. Sadly, he wasn't made aware that a decision had been made for him until he came out and it was over. If he had known, he would have been out there hand over heart. Unfortunately, he wasn't made aware it was time to head out to the field as they always do every game, she wrote on Instagram. Eric Decker responded to this comment by writing "Preach baby." However, this contradicts a post written by the Tennessee Titans which claimed that the team all decided they would sit out the national anthem. "As a team, we wanted to be unified in our actions today. The players jointly decided this was the best course of action. Our commitment to the military and our community is resolute, and the absence of our team for the national anthem shouldn't be misconstrued as unpatriotic," they wrote. Who do you believe? Here is a quote from a post written by Jesse James Decker earlier in the week. "One of my favorite things to do is sing the national anthem. I think about my dad, my uncles, my cousins, both grandfathers who fought in the Vietnam War. I think about how my grandfather Papa Tim would ask me to sing this song for him every time I saw him, and how he would make me turn the other way to sing it so he could just weep and cry as hard as he wanted because it meant so much to him." Ben Ferguson humiliates CNN's Symone Sanders for making Trump's NFL comments about race. Ever since President Trump dared to stand up to NFL players disrespecting our flag, the entire mainstream media has been calling him a racist. That's why it was so satisfying to watch Ben Ferguson smack some sense into one of CNN's most loud and obnoxious commentators, Symone Sanders. The president was right and the NFL players were wrong. It doesn't matter what you're protesting, and the American people are saying this: you don't disrespect the flag and turn it into your own personal moment, said Ferguson. You want to do something before or after the game, you want to do something else, but during that moment it is wrong, and the American people are saying this is wrong, and it doesn't matter what they're protesting. It's inappropriate at that moment, said Ferguson. When you see the majority of Americans saying it's wrong to protest during the national anthem, that's where they're backing the president. When they made it personal, it seems there's more divide there, said Ferguson. Sanders tried arguing back, but Ferguson wouldn't have any of it. Disrespecting the American flag has nothing to do with race. The majority of these players were protesting Donald Trump. So, again, to say that all of them are unified on Black Lives Matter or police brutality, the majority of these players did not stay in the locker room a year ago when that was the actual issue that Colin Kaepernick brought up, said Ferguson. Not everything is race, as much as you want it to be, he said. Breaking: Muslims in Nazareth just cancelled Christmas, the reason is awful. Nazareth is a city of central importance to Christians. It is, of course, where Jesus Christ grew up, as documented in the New Testament. It is also the place where Gabriel visited the Virgin Mary and informed her that she would bear the Son of God. However, the Nazareth as depicted in the New Testament is certainly not the same city as it is today. For starters, the city, which is located in present-day Israel, has a population that is 2/3 RDS Muslim. However, the city's leaders still recognized how important the city is to Christians, and catered to Christian visitors at Christmas time with a parade, numerous concerts and a Christmas market to mark the special time in our calendar. Unfortunately, in a disturbing turn of events, Nazareth Mayor Ali Salam has announced that he would be canceling all Christmas-related celebrations for this year. His reason is that he upset that President Donald Trump has formally recognized that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel and is now planning on moving the U.S. Embassy in Israel there. Stated Mayor Salam, who is Muslim, in a press conference, "Our identity and faith aren't up for debate. The decision, made by President Trump about Jerusalem, has taken away the joy of the holiday, and we will thus cancel the festivities this year. The people in the town, Muslims, Jews and Christians alike, will suffer without the income that would have been brought in from the tens of thousands of Christian pilgrims that normally come every year." The pro-Christian organization The Brotherly Covenant in Israel slammed Mayor Salim's decision, saying that it harms Christians in Israel and in the world on their holy day. Are you disgusted that Mayor Salim has cancelled Christmas celebrations in Christ's hometown?